Alright guys, today I'm bringing you along for one of my favorite homemade soups. I love tomato soup. It is such a springy, summery, really, let's just face it, all year round delicious soup. But I was really wanting something fresh and spring-like. I'm waiting for it to stop being so cold so that I can start planting my garden. And I'm just really wanting fresh vegetables. So I bought some fresh tomatoes and eggplant, and we are making a roasted eggplant tomato soup. But I went ahead, usually I saute the onions and garlic, and then I roast the tomato and the eggplant. But today I didn't have a lot of time. My babies did not sleep well, and so they've been cranky, and I knew that I wouldn't really have the opportunity to just stand around the stove and cook. So I roasted it all. And let me bring you over to show you how delicious this looks. Look at that. Does that not look beautiful? So what I have is one large onion that I just kind of quartered and then separated. And then I have a bulb of garlic that I'll show you in a second. But for that, the easiest way to do it is you chop off the top to where you're opening up all of the little garlic pieces of the cloves. Sprinkle it with salt and pepper and some olive oil or whatever oil you use. And then when it roasts, it gets real soft and you can just squeeze it out of the shell. So that's what that is. And then I also have one eggplant that was done in 1-inch cubes. And as you can see, it gets smaller and shrinks up. And then I have about 5 or 6 small Roma tomatoes. And then a pint of the grape tomatoes. I wanted something sweet. So that is what I have. And it already smells so good. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. And it is super easy. That went for, it was at 400 degrees for about an hour. And around every 15-20 minutes, I went in and stirred it just so nothing would burn. And now all we're doing is getting it in here and gonna puree it and season it. And that's how easy the soup comes together. And it's so good. The eggplant gives it such a unique flavor. Oh, it makes me want spring so bad. And oh, I didn't peel the tomatoes either. Like I just the grape tomatoes I just stuck in the pan. But the Roma tomatoes I halved. And then I did peel the eggplant though. I did peel that. So that is that. And I salt and peppered. I don't know if I said that. I did salt and pepper. And I'm sure I don't know if you can eggplant. But this is essentially the recipe that I use whenever I can tomato soup. But I've never done it with eggplant. I'll have to research that to see if you can eggplant or not, because that would be amazing to have on the shelf. So to this, we're adding about a teaspoon of dry basil. And I'm going to go a little less than a teaspoon actually, because I like basil, but I'm not in love with basil. Now oregano I am in love with, so we will do a full teaspoon of that. Dry. You'll want to use about a tablespoon if you're using fresh of each. Now, we need more liquid, so we're going to do about a cup of chicken broth. And I'm using my home canned chicken bone broth. Or this might be turkey bone broth. Let's see. Is that about a cup? Almost. Alright, we're going to use between a cup and a half. It depends on how thick or thinned out you want your soup to be. I think I will add a little more. And you also have to realize that your tomatoes let out juice too during the cooking process. Alright, so that's about, I mean, that's pretty thick. That's like a stew consistency. But when we puree it, if we feel like it needs to be a little looser, we'll go ahead and do that. So let's do our garlic, and I'll show you what it looks like. So there's our garlic, and as you can see, I just chopped off the top, and then I salt peppered, and now look. They're already separated from their little pieces. They shrunk up and separated, so now instead of having to peel all those very carefully, and it's still hot. Let me think of a better way to do that. Usually it's not so hot whenever I'm trying to squeeze them out. Ooh, I know what we can use. A baby spoon. This is like the perfect size for the garlic cloves. So just get in there and look at that. There's your clove of garlic right there. Pop them in, and now you don't have to worry about peeling them and chopping off the woody end, because that part's still in there. That's not coming out. And these just squish right on out of their shell. Look at that. I don't even have to dig. I'm just pushing enough to pop it out. Also, roasting your garlic gives it such a sweet flavor, and it's a flavor that you can't get unless you roast it. I mean, sauteing vegetables, yes, that gives it a different flavor, but roasted it, that's a flavor in and of itself. And it really, I mean, come on. I have twin babies. They're 6 months old, and I was able to do it. This is like, I don't know. You can't get much simpler than chop and dump. Oh, well, lost that one. Chop and dump, and then put it all together with some seasoning. Because, except for the stirring part, I didn't have to do anything for an hour. So, in my book, that is, oh my goodness, I cannot get that where it needs to go. So enough rambling. All I'm doing now, I'm getting the soup and those herbs, I'm letting them hydrate back, and after a couple minutes I will go in with an immersion blender and blend this out, and I will bring you back after that. Okay, so this went for about 5 minutes at a simmer, just to make sure that you had all of your dehydrated herbs rehydrated. You got to give them time to marry, per se. And I did go ahead and add the full 1.5 pints of my chicken bone broth, because I wanted it to be really smooth, and that is what it is. And it's actually still pretty thick, which is fine, because I'm also going to add cream at the end to give it a really creamy finish. So that right now, that's the consistency of it. So if you wanted it soupier, like Campbell's, add more broth. But it's also going to get a little soupier once I add the cream. And I am using heavy cream. If you wanted to lighten it up, use milk or half and half, or don't put it in at all. It's delicious right now. I just like the creamy finish. So that is just to your liking on how much cream you want to add. And my burner's off. You don't want your heat on when you're adding in your cream. Oh, that looks so good. Everything's better with a little cream. Oh my goodness. That is the perfect consistency. Now I'm going to have to make me a couple grilled cheese sandwiches to go with this. Oh, this is going to be a good lunch. Okay, so let me give you a quick taste test. Tell you what I taste. A little bit, because it's going to be hot. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so good. I do want to add more pepper. Just a touch. I really like black pepper, if I can say it right. And I do think I also want to add just a touch of parsley, just to give it an extra little fresh thing going on. And I think that will be perfect. Yep. That is perfect. That is so fresh and delicious. And the eggplant gives it, like, I can't even describe what the eggplant does. But it just, I don't know if it accentuates the tomato, but it really throws this dish over the top. You wouldn't think so. Alright, I'm going to have to get off of here because I will just sit here and spoon out this whole thing of soup. It is that good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any recipes or canning or whatever I am doing at the time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and try cooking out. It's fun, it's relaxing, and if I can do it, anyone can do it. Until next time, guys.